Whether you're dating a photographer or just got slapped with one for Secret Santa, these are a series of perfect gift ideas for the photographer in your life that they will actually use. And no, I do not mean a lens mug.
Work hard, rest often.
Hello and welcome. My name is Finn Badgley. I'm a commercial photographer and all-around content creator, and the holidays are upon us. And if you're buying a gift for a photographer, here are some great ideas that if I received, I would love. We're going to be going through a bunch of different price points from on the lower end, the middle end, and then a bit of the higher end. We're kind of looking at like a $20 to $30 range, a $60 range, and a $120 plus range. So that way, no matter how close the photographer is to you, you'll have some great options to get them for this holiday season. Links to everything listed will be down in the description below, so you guys can check those out as well. Starting off, we're going to start small with a couple great ideas, and these will also feature some great fail-safes that you can keep in your back pocket for future reference. If your photographer enjoys shooting film, not every photographer does, this might be an important thing to ask. But if they do, or if you're aware that they do, if you see any film photos posted on Insta, hashtag shot on film, well, a roll of 35mm is great for that. My personal favorites include Portra 400 and Portra 800 for those low light scenarios, but it depends on what they enjoy shooting. If you want a more budget-friendly option, you can get a couple 3-packs of some Kodak Gold 200, which is always a great film stock, less handy for low light, so take a look at their Insta, see what they shoot, or if they tag it with hashtag 120 film, then maybe you're going to want to pick up some of that. For me, this, I would love to receive some Portra 400, some Portra 800, Kodak Gold 200, 120 film. Oh man, I would be happy as can be. So that's always a great fail-safe there, especially if the photographer in your life does shoot on film. Now, if they do, here's a great option that can also be considered for the higher price point option, but if you do some digging, you should be able to find this on the budge. This is my handy point and shoot film camera that I carry with me most places I go. Some of my favorite memories and photos of life have been taken on this exact camera here, and I actually found it at a thrift store, a Value Village to be more specific, for like $15. And honestly, it works perfectly. Just be sure when you go in there to test it out. Usually thrift stores will have a couple different options. You can always ask if they have any vintage cameras and just make sure they're in working order before you actually buy them. I've seen anything from a great point and shoot camera like this to carry around. I've seen stuff like your standard 35mm film cameras. I've seen even different actual movie cameras. This is a regular 8mm camera. This isn't found at a thrift store. This is actually my grandfather's, but I've seen similar ones to this at vintage stores as well. And I've even seen different ones like a twin reflex camera. These are the ones where they have the 2 lenses in them and they look really great. They look that kind of antique vibe. And even if they don't shoot on them, this would be a great collectible, though they might range into the middle to high option, so keep that in mind. If you want something that you just got tagged for Secret Santa, you want to spend 20 bucks, maybe pick up a point and shoot film camera from your local thrift store. That's a great option for any photographer out there, especially if they do or are looking to get into film more. Now, if they don't shoot on film, or if they have pretty much all their needs covered in that department, something that I would love to receive if it were given to me would be something like this. This is a camera specific multi-tool. What we got here is a perfect flathead for when you don't have a screwdriver for those pesky tripod plates. You're looking in your pockets, do I have a coin? You gotta ask the client, it's not a good look. And then sometimes you have to jerry rig your camera to the top of a tripod. So this is a great way to not run into that. You've also got some Allen keys, a Phillips screwdriver. You got a whole bunch of different common sized Allen wrenches there. You can attach some different screws in here. It's a perfect thing that you can slide in your pocket, and it usually comes in a nice little carrying case. And the price point on these are pretty dang good. They're about that $20 to $30 range, and if you look on Amazon or different websites, you should be able to find them pretty well. Again, links to this particular one will be in the description down below. Honestly, even for my work on set, I carry this because sometimes you need something in a pinch, and if I can whip this out quicker than it takes somebody to run across the room and grab one, well, then I look like the hero. And if you're just out taking some photos, this is a great thing to pack in your bag that will save you in a pinch, and the photographer in your life will definitely thank you for it. And here's the other thing, they wouldn't expect it. It's one of those things where, you know, you might be wary of, oh, will they appreciate this? Will they not? I can guarantee you they will. And when it saves them, they really will appreciate it. Now, getting into the mid-range, now we're talking around $60 or so. A great option is memory cards. Now, this can range into the high option as well, but if you happen to know the camera brand that the photographer in your life photographs with, you can look up what memory card they take, and if you really want to be the hero, get something with a high capacity and a high speed. That's the most important one. The higher transfer rate on that memory card, the better it's going to be. There are a couple great brands to go with that are trusted, so always stick to the more well-known name brand ones, as they will be more reliable and your photographer will thank you for them versus tossing them in a pile of memory cards that they just won't use. You can find smaller capacity ones that run a great speed. You can get different SD cards, XQD cards, CFast, a whole bunch of different cards depending on which type of camera your photographer is using. Make sure to get that right so you don't accidentally get the wrong card. If they're covered in that portion, then something that is a great go-to that I think would be great for any photographer is something like this. This is a tech organizing pouch because every photographer in their bag has a whole bunch of cables, bits, and bobs that they don't really have a spot for. And for me, this managed to condense all of that into one package, and it has saved me so much time, so many headaches, because I just take it out from one bag into another. If I have my big on-location bag, I can take it out of that, put it in my travel bag. It's a great thing to keep everything nice, neat, and organized. There's actually this particular model, the Peak Design one, I have a full review of linked up here. So if you want more information on that, you can check that out there. None of these products are sponsored. These are just things that I would love to receive and would give to a different photographer in my life. Now, getting into the higher priced options. Number 3 on the list. Something that most photographers absolutely love, being visual people, are coffee table books. They're a great conversation piece, and if that photographer in your life has somebody that they really look up to or whose work they're really inspired by, that is a great option for them. If they're a fashion photographer, you can look into Tom Ford, Louis Vuitton, different Vanity Fair throughout the decades, stuff like that. Or if they have a particular photographer that they really enjoy, maybe something like that is a great option. For me, one of the greats, Richard Avedon, is one of my favorite photographers. I don't personally own a coffee table book of his, so if anyone's actually watching this looking for gift ideas for me in the future, that actually isn't a bad idea. All jokes aside, being such visual people, a coffee table book is a great option. And if you're close to them, they're more likely to go through it with you and show you all the photos and why it's inspired by them. So then that actually creates an experience between the two of you, which leads me to potentially either the cheapest or by far the most expensive option on here, because I didn't really want to go into talking about gear specifically, because most photographers, if they're looking to buy gear, have very specific preferences. I know that because that's how I am. I'm not going to be somebody who's like, oh, this, like, I'm looking for a new lens or something. I'm like, if I'm looking for a new lens, it's going to be this one. It's going to be Like it's going to be this exact focal length, this brand, this aperture, all to the wire, and then I'll write it off as a business expense. So that's something that's so ultra specific that if it were on a list, well, it's got to be that thing, or then I'll just end up returning it for the thing. So this is why I'm compiling a list of things that can work no matter who your photographer is. But especially if they are close to you, if they're your spouse, if they're your partner, a fantastic gift idea is an experience. One which they can take photos. One, ideally, that they can take photos with you. So it could be a trip to a different country where they're going to go and take some of the most beautiful photos, especially if there's somewhere that's been on their bucket list that they've wanted to photograph, take them there. Or if it's just a road trip to go to a different city, take some photos. If it's an afternoon, if it's a photo scavenger hunt, create an experience around photography, and that photographer in your life will never stop talking about it. Why? Because if somebody did this for me, that's how I would react. If they took into account what I like photographing, what I really gravitate towards, and places that I want to go, and if they took that and created an experience surrounding it, that would be next level. And it doesn't have to cost a lot, but in some circumstances, especially if you're doing any international travel, it can cost quite a lot, but it doesn't have to. Use what you're able to, and you can create a great experience for the photographer in your life who will always remember that. They're going to talk about it for decades, I promise you. And they'll have the photos to look back on. You can even combine some of these and give them like a film camera to bring on the trip with them. So that way they're already set and ready to go, taking some great photos on that trip with you. And then, hey, you get to have fun. You get to watch the person that you love doing what they love. And does it really get any better than that? I don't think so. So I hope these were helpful for you, especially because photographers, we can be hard to buy for, and sometimes the gimmicky things just aren't what we always want. So with that in mind, I hope this helps you on your search, clarify some things, and give you some options no matter what price point you're in. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you and the photographer in your life got some value out of it. I hope these tips really helped you narrow down your search this holiday season. Links are in the description down below, so absolutely go check those out there. If you have not already, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and comment any other suggestions if you're a photographer, what you would like to receive this holiday season. Remember to work hard and especially rest often. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.